Hello and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Talking Football, and today it's time for Germany and France. With me here in the studio are Ouriel Daskal from Kalkali's Daily and website and I-24 News reporter Michael Friedman. Thank you for coming.
Hi.
Marco Reus is out again. How bad is that for Dortmund? And did Marseille handle the pressure of seeing PSG on top for 48 hours? All that and much more coming up. Here we go. We begin with a machine also known as Bayern Munich. This time they beat Hoffenheim 4-0. Uriel, you look at the German ranking, it starts to look like previous years. Bayern Munich way ahead of everybody else.
Actually, it's like last season, just better. They've conceded just 3 goals in 12 games, which is absolutely astonishing. There's so much more, more cohesive,
we
more
always speak of their offense, Robben and Lewandowski and Schweinsteiger. Their defense is absolutely superb.
Exactly. I mean, they've conceded only 3 goals. Only 1 was from open play. So really, I mean, they closed down the shop really well. And when you have talent such as Robben and Ribéry and Goetze and Müller, and they're a machine, as you said. They play against humans. They're machines playing against humans,
yes.
and they're winning. And I think, actually, I'm not sure about calling them a machine. They're an amazing organism that just everyone thinks
they learn
the same way.
Together,
their movement and their cohesion is something amazing.
And now for Dortmund, on the other hand, things look bad again. They led 2-0 at the break in Paderborn before conceding 2 second-half goals and going home with just a point. Again, they look very unstable, and I have to ask you about them, Uriel. Again, we're talking about the difference. In Europe, they look great. At home, it's a problem in the Bundesliga again and again.
Yeah, I think a lot of German teams have learned how to play against Dortmund really well, and you find it hard to surprise them, to surprise your opponents. Then you find it hard to beat them. Bayern can do it, but they have a lot more quality in their squad. And let's say Reus now is injured. It's a major blow for Dortmund, because he's their he's their
Once
creative.
Lewandowski is gone, he's the man.
Exactly, he's the man. He's the creative creator. He's the one who's supposed to bring them to that other surprising element. And when they don't have him and he's probably out until January, then it's a problem for them.
And Michael, Uriel mentioned Marco Reus, very unlucky.
Yep.
4th time is injured in the past few months. Did not play in the World Cup. Just came back good. Big problem for Dortmund.
Yeah, in the press they're saying that Dortmund can't get a break. And Jurgen Klopp, he was extremely unhappy. He said it was a horrific moment. It's a red card. Draw in Paderborn isn't that dramatic, but the loss of Reus is harder to accept. So he knows that without Reus, it's going to be a very challenging season for them without him.
Absolutely. We know he was waiting for Mkhitaryan to come back for Marco Reus. Finally, things seem to be falling into place. Not so much now. Let's now take a look at the other results from the Bundesliga, where there were more good news for Bayern Munich, as the 2 teams chasing them at the top were both defeated. Wolfsburg lost 3-2 to Schalke, and Borussia Mönchengladbach were surprised at home by Eintracht Frankfurt, who won the game 3-1. Bayer Leverkusen is now closing in as they won 3-1 in Hanover. The gap at the top is now 7 points. Bayern Munich is once again way above everybody else. Despite losing to Schalke, Wolfsburg is still second with 23 points, followed by Mönchengladbach and Leverkusen, both with 20 points. We will take a break now from European football to look at an Israeli story, not a very happy one, I should say. Any match between Beitar Jerusalem and Bnei Sachnin brings out the tension between Jews and Arabs in this country. When it comes in the very tense moments, such as these ones, it feels like a battlefield, much more than a football match. Only with the help of hundreds of security officials, it ended relatively quiet this time. Shai Ben-Ari and Michael Friedman take a look at a match that is anything but football.
With the rising tensions between Jews and Arabs in Israel, the match between Beitar Yerushalayim and Bnei Sakhnin left everyone on edge. Every time these two sides face off, violence occurs, as Sakhnin is the club of the Arab minority in Israel, and Beitar is the team widely supported by the Israeli extreme right wing. To avoid those kinds of problems between two bitter rivals, there were 700 cops and border police and even 250 security guards. The match presented a great challenge for the Northern District. While the game was initially canceled in fear of violence, the Israel Football Association welcomed the decision to have the match. All of the 4,800 tickets sold for the game had to be approved and recorded by police beforehand. Although many look at the fans as hooligans, a lot came in hope for just a friendly and quiet atmosphere.
I'm not a political person. I come because we're good neighbors. I came out of solidarity to show that coexistence is possible, and I protest any kind of violence between people.
The Beitar Yerushalayim fans were driven to the match under police escort after having undergone security checks in order to prevent fans from bringing in flares, fireworks, and weapons of any sort. Nevertheless, several disturbances were seen throughout the game. The Sakhnin fans ignited a large torch on the stands, and a Beitar enthusiast broke the bathroom in the stadium. While many hoped to avoid conflict on the pitch, it appeared to be inevitable. A scuffle between players in the 87th minute of the match spiraled into near pandemonium, which riled up team members on both sides. In the final few minutes of the game, the referee pulled out no less than 7 yellow cards, but was smart enough not to give any red cards, which could have flared things up even more. Fans of both clubs regularly jeered and spewed racial slurs at each other during the game's 90 minutes, and the Sakhnin fans waved Palestinian flags in an attempt to enrage the Beitar supporters. But many Sakhnin fans believe the game was just a simple match.
I'm very happy for the Sakhnin fans that brought the victory, but what's even more important was the spirit of the sport in the stadium. There was nothing political or racial. The crowd of Sakhnin is very educated, and they know how important the team is for the Arab population.
Fortunately, there was no direct contact between the two crowds, and everyone got home safely. Sakhnin won the match 1-0, a very important victory as they are trying to avoid the relegation zone, giving the supporters and the players joy.
So I was very, very excited seeing my team winning because this is what I want my team to come up with. So I'm very, very happy about that.
While many expected blood at the match, thankfully we witnessed just football.
Ouriel, I have to ask you, all this pandemonium, is it really worth it? Maybe we should do like they do in Turkey and Greece. Visiting fans, do not go to the match. It's not very, it bothers sports. Yes. Is it safer? Yes.
Of course it's safer, and you know, if Ajax fans can't go to Feyenoord, to a game at Feyenoord, and you know, in Italy you're not allowed to have away supporters in some matches, then it's just reasonable that in Israel, such a hot tub of problems like Bnei Sakhnin and Beitar Jerusalem, you just don't have away supporters. You could, you just make everything calmer, relax the whole situation, and nobody's thinking that way, unfortunately.
Absolutely. And Michael, we're speaking of a game that ended relatively quiet. Relatively quiet means vandalized toilets, as we've seen, buses with broken windows. That's relatively quiet.
Yeah, it appears that the Israelis are becoming more and more European. These guys
we want to be European when it comes to football here. But
this isn't the case that we would like to see them. The vandalism, the fighting, the flares going off. It's not a good thing for Israeli football, and it's certainly causing more and more problems with how they're going to handle the matches and leading up to games.
Yeah. Without the away supporters, you just have a football match without all the political, show.
Unrest.
Yeah, all the political. Everybody wanted to show his political side in this match, and without the away supporters, it would have been just a football match.
I think we should consider that. Now let's go back to football with the French league. Marseille proved they have character. They saw PSG lead the French league for 48 hours. They saw Bordeaux take an early lead, but that was not enough to put them down. 3 goals in the last half an hour and 2 in the final 5 minutes put Marcelo Bielsa's team back on the top spot. Not only Bielsa now feels this is a special group, so does the Bordeaux manager.
After seeing today's game, I can say that Marseille deserves to be the leader. They are great players and they don't hesitate to take risks in order to score. This is also what we try to do, and I say again, they deserve to be the leaders.
This is a deserved victory.
El juego ofensivo del equipo fue bueno.
The offensive play of the team was good.
Creamos muchas.
We managed to create a lot of scoring opportunities.
And Michael, if we look at the press, they're starting to feel this team has the character. I don't know if it's enough to go past PSG in the long run, but character they have.
Yeah, the fact that they were behind PSG on Friday and then were able to bounce back and win was very good. The French news were all talking about, their character and, the late goals that they scored. 2 late goals was very important for them. Gignac, once again, is the big guy in the news because he's providing so many goals. This was his 11th goal of the season. And ultimately, Bordeaux was unable to get their first win against Marseille since 2008. So they're still struggling there.
And I have to ask you, Ouriel, of course, they're very happy at Marseille. They won. They're back on the top. But there's a huge, huge shadow over this club right now.
Yeah, as usual with Marseille.
As if we're still in the days of Bernard Tapie.
Yeah.
They won the Champions League with Bernard Tapie. Let's remember that.
With Bielsa as well next year. The club president, Vincent Lebron, he was arrested by the police and of suspicion of basically stealing money off the Gignac transfer from Toulouse. And I think, Marcelo Bielsa should get a lot of credit for what he's doing with Marseille and keeping this group together without the players he wanted the president to bring. The president brought a 19-year-old defender, Doria, the Brazilian one, and now after he's been arrested for embezzlement, you think, wait a second.
Why did he bring this guy?
Why did he bring the 19-year-old player that Marcelo Bielsa didn't ask for? And Marcelo Bielsa himself said, I didn't get the players I want my players, and I'm not very happy about it. And yet, he managed to create such a strong group of players who play excellent football, and they have huge character. And I hope for him that he will continue until they win the championship.
And I know I sound like I did last season with Atletico Madrid. Is that enough to take on PSG all the way? Because we're still in November.
Yes, but there is an important thing about it. Right now, I think the group has developed a siege mentality, which is very important for a group to continue and impress. It's us against the world, and it's a good emotion to have in a title-winning team. But PSG soon they're going to take a break from the Champions League football, and they will be able to concentrate more on the league.
And they're only a point behind.
Yeah, and they're only a point behind, and their quality is, they have so much more quality than Marseille. Then I think eventually Marseille will find themselves second place and will be very happy about it.
And Michael, French press, are they thinking, is this group strong enough to give a shot at PSG?
It seems as if, at the end of the season, PSG is going to be able to pull through, and they have more talented players, and the press knows that PSG is the team to bet on. And Marseille, ultimately, they're looking great right now, but a lot of people are saying that they're going to drop, and eventually, without Gignac keeps scoring, but what happens if he's not the prolific scorer as he is today?
Absolutely, and let's not forget, Gignac is in a great scoring form right now. What happens, as you say, if he goes into some weaker times, we don't exactly know.
Nobody's going to buy anyone, because the president is in jail. So.
Absolutely. In other results from the French League, champions Paris Saint-Germain gave away a 2-0 halftime lead in Metz on Friday night. But just as it seemed they would leave 2 points there, Ezequiel Lavazzi scored to secure the win. Lyon finished in a disappointing goalless draw in Bastia. And the season continues to be less than stellar for Monaco, who got just a point from their home match against Caen. Marseille lost the top spot just for 48 hours but climbed back following the win last night. Paris Saint-Germain is just a point behind, and Lyon is third. Nantes and Bordeaux close the top 5 list, both with 24 points. Ouriel Daskal, Michael Freeman, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And that's it for Talking Football today. We'll be here again tomorrow with our sports magazine. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.